Well, I am live. So, what's going on, guys? It is Boss Up 6, and I am here with another live stream. And this one is a little bit different. I wouldn't say like all entirely different, but um, if you guys can tell by the title of the stream, it is what is your favorite Eddie Guerrero matches, moments in his entire career because I think this past was it Wednesday or Tuesday? I can't fully remember, but 19 years ago, we unfortunately lost one of the greatest of all time in Eddie Guerrero due to a heart attack. And one of the biggest spirit animals in wrestling history. That guy just oozed with charisma, personality out the wazoo, and was just so damn entertaining no matter how down he was in his life. Of course, he battled through his personal demons, had drug and alcohol problems, but went through them. But in the end, unfortunately, the demons did kind of win over Eddie, no matter how clean he got. Um, Sorry, I got tools in my mouth. But Eddie he was just so good at everything he did, whether it was a squash match, whether it was a long match, whether it was a short match. Eddie just had that personality that a lot of wrestlers nowadays wish they have. Um, but Eddie's death really took a toll on wrestling um, as a whole because and I would put it up there along with Owen as like the most saddest passing in WWE history. I would put it up there. And it sucks Eddie was taken from us way too damn soon. Um, rest in peace, Eddie. Forever be missed. Um, a lot of people were affected by it, but there was mainly three people that were. Obviously his nephew Chavo, who found Eddie in his hotel room, barely clinging on to anything. He was holding a toothbrush in his hand, and Eddie basically died in Chavo's arms, um, which is a damn shame. Um, yeah, that sucks. That really does suck. Um, Another one was obviously Rey Mysterio. He treated Eddie like he was his family. Um, like you look at the Rey and the Eddie feud, whether it was a friendly or a personal one, those two just made magic happen, man. And it was just damn good stuff. And I think the big one that affected Eddie's death, in my personal opinion, knowing what he did almost 2 years later, was Chris Benoit. Obviously, a lot of people know about what Benoit did, but to those of you who don't, Benoit was basically like a brother to Eddie. And yeah, what Benoit did in the end, he ended up killing his wife and his kid and then commit suicide. And he was actually supposed to be on a pay-per-view, Vengeance / United Champions, and he was actually going to go to that show, but then he did what he did. they should have gave Benoit time off. They really should have. Like, what story he had at that time? I'd say, like, because I think he was feuded with Booker T for the U.S. title. I'd have Benoit drop the title, and like have him like maybe written off a TV or something like that. Do something. Have Benoit take time off because him going through that shit was that was not cool. That was pretty bad, and Benoit was never the same. He never was. Hey, what's going on? No Break Roman and Me Metal Mike. How we doing? Ray versus Eddie Custody Dominic. Oh my God, yes. Oh boy, that whole angle. That thing's been memed to death as the years have went on. But yeah, I'll be completely honest. As much there are some good moments of that match, but I'll be completely honest. The match as a whole is overrated. There's a lot of botches in that match. It's like, oh yeah, like there's some scary bumps in that match, but fucking Michael Cole's commentary, dude, great shit. Great shit. Like as much as we love to trash Cole, especially afterwards, like when him and Taz were doing like emotional commentary, it was good stuff. Benoit Broken Man, oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Like they should have given him time off. Like if it were up to me, I'd say have Benoit take as much time off as possible. Because yeah, excuse me, Benoit was never the same. Oh, whoops. Eddie versus Cena parking lot match. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. That's like by default, it's like the best parking lot match. But oh my God, like that was such a cool gimmick for both because obviously Eddie was kind of like a Street Fighter in a way, and Cena was like the trash talker. That was a great feud, a great end to that feud. I wish it was a pay-per-view led feud, but it only lasted for 3 weeks. I kind of wish they kind of drew that out just a little bit more, but yeah, that was a great match too. I think Cena was wearing the Chicago Bears jersey, I believe. Yeah, that was some great shit right there, man. What's some other ones? I'm trying to avoid like big ones. One of my favorite Eddie matches was him and Tajiri versus Team Angle, which was Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Judgment Day 2003 in the ladder match for the tag titles. It was originally supposed to be him and Chavo, but Chavo was out with an injury, so it's Jerry came in. Great match. Yeah, that was a great match. Oh man, I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. My freaking throat's hurt me. Ooh. Ooh. Well, don't mind me. I got me some Tootsie Rolls. What other match? I'm trying to think of some like underrated gems. Oh, Eddie versus Rob Van Dam in a ladder match on Monday Night Raw from 2002. I can't remember what one it was. I think it was in June, if I remember, but I think that match is kind of well known for the that fan that ran in and Eddie beat the shit out of him, which deservedly so. You shouldn't get in the ring, and if you are, you best better become prepared, because if not, you're going to get your shit kicked in. But that was a great match. What else? What else? Eddie versus The Rock. I thought that was a really damn good match they had on Raw. Um, clash of great characters, great personalities. It was a hell of a match. A hell of a match. Um, hmm. What else? What else? What else? Oh man. Oh hell! I can't. Man, I'm starting to blank on that. Eddie versus X Pac from NWO sold out 1997 in a ladder match for the United States title. If you don't remember that match, it was on NWO's Lonely Pay-Per-View concept. Out of 1997, widely regarded as arguably the worst WCW pay-per-view of all time, and if not the worst pay-per-view of all time, at least in the mainstream marketing, that was a terrible show. That show was so fucking horrible. But Eddie versus X Pac was a damn good match, or Six Pac, or whichever he was going by at that point. But Sean Waltman, that was a really damn good match. Eddie was sort of a heel, but he was kind of a face by default. So you had that, and that was the only great thing on the entire show, because everything else was pretty dog shit. But yeah, that was a fantastic match. I remember. Man. Again, I'm not trying to think of like the big matches that Eddie had. I might get into one of them here in a bit, but oh my god, I'm trying to think. I'm really blanking. Yeah, I'm blanking. I can't remember, but I might as well go into the big matches Eddie's more well known for. Obviously the AAA match. It was Eddie and known class act Art Barr. Just look him up. Versus I think El Hijo del Santo and Octagon. And I think it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, if I remember. It was from When Worlds Collide in 1994. And that is, I would argue, the best AAA match of all time. It's legendary. It still holds up even by today's standards. That was a fantastic match. Of course, Eddie versus Ray and the Mask versus title match at Halloween Havoc 1997. I'd argue the best WCW match of all time, even though it's not the longest match. It's about, 13 minutes at most. But God damn, that in-ring action was so good. That was so good. I love the story that they told. Trying to see what else. Oh, Eddie and Benoit in the U.S. Title tournament final at Vengeance 03. That was a really damn good match. I thought that was a fantastic match. Yeah, that was a really good match. Eddie versus Edge in a no DQ match on SmackDown 02. Unfortunately, that would lead to Edge's neck problems. So that kind of has a bit of an irk on the match a little bit for me. Because Jesus Christ, that sunset flip powerbomb. Oh man. That was not good. That was pretty nasty actually. Eddie versus John Cena WrestleMania 40 was crazy. That did not happen. I'm not sure what match you're talking about, Roman, but that match never happened because Eddie's been gone for 19 years. Although we were actually supposed to get Eddie versus Shawn at Mania 22, but unfortunately, Eddie's passing kind of made a stopgap in that. Man, I'm trying to think what other match. Oh, okay. Not trying to disrespect Eddie because, but because he dead, you can't see him. And John Cena, you can't. Oh, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. That's a bit fucked up, but yeah, that's well, I don't know about that, Chief, but try to think. What next? Oh yeah, the triple threat at Survivor Series for the tag titles. It was Benoit, Angle, Ray, Edge, and Eddie and Chavo. That was great shit. Um. I'm trying to think. There's another one. There's another big one, but not really sure if I can really think of other ones. I'm trying to think of like SmackDown and Raw matches, but yeah. Bro, and he just looks like Dom with the mullet and stash. Well, I mean, he is technically Dominic's father, so. I can't really think of other ones, but obviously Eddie versus Brock. Not Eddie Brock. Eddie versus Brock at No Way Out 04. One could argue the best Eddie match of his entire career. I mean, it's probably the most accomplished of his entire career because he won the WWE title. It's just unfortunate how the reign went. And it's not that it was a bad reign. It's just that Eddie had no one to work with. But yeah, that match between Eddie and Brock was that was so good. Although if Brock didn't leave or if Brock wasn't leaving at that time, I think Eddie would have gotten close, but he would just come up short in that match. Where did my phone? Okay. Yeah. Just end your stream nice. Yeah, Eddie versus Rock, that was fantastic. Did we ever see Eddie versus the Dead Man? I'm trying to think. I don't think we ever had a one-on-one encounter between each other because they were both faces at the time. Um, that one I'm not 100% sure on. I did know they have encounters with each other, but I don't think Eddie and Taker ever had like a one-on-one match. If they did, then it was probably on SmackDown or on house shows. But Taker loved Eddie. I mean, everyone did essentially. Um, but yeah, I don't really remember a one-on-one encounter in particular with Eddie and Undertaker, but I know for a fact they did have encounters in some way. Um, and that'll kind of lead us to the Eddie and JBL matches, which fucking Christ. You want a violent feud, look no further than that. Oh my god. Like you want one of the worst blade jobs or one the worst blade job and WWE or just the wrestling history. Look no further than the Eddie Blade job from Judgment Day 04. God, Jesus Christ, that was terrible. Eddie versus Ray Dominic. I mean, Eddie would have been what 56, I think, something like that. Ooh, if Eddie was alive today, how would you book Dirty Dom versus Eddie Guerrero? Oh man, I don't know if Eddie would have been able to go as well in the ring, because he was just he was in his 40s when he passed. So wait, hold on. How old would have Eddie been? Let me check really quick. He would have been. Oh no, he was just approaching 40. He was in his late 30s when he passed. So he would have been. He would have been 47. So he would have been his nearly 50. I would book it to where um where Eddie was I would have booked it to where Eddie's been retired for a few years, and I would say okay, like let's say Eddie retired by 2018. Or 2019. Let's say he's been retired for a little bit, because his body's been starting to weigh down a little bit. So let's just say Dirty Dom attacks Ray and Edge and betrays him in Joy's Judgment Day. And you have it to where, you have the I Quit match with Edge and Finn. And Finn says, you have no more friends anymore. And Dominic's talking all this trash about Ray and all that stuff, saying you're a deadbeat dad. And saying that, Eddie's my real father and Eddie would have treated me right. That way you can up to bring him out of retirement. And they they hug and all that stuff. And you can kind of partner them up a little bit. You can have Eddie kind of be heel. He's not really joining Judgment Day. He's just siding with Dominic because he was like, yeah, Ray, you claim to say that's your son when in reality it's actually mine. Kind of play up that thing from, the custody of Dominic thing that happened in 05. So it culminates. The feud starts to reach a boil, and Eddie and Ray have the match at 38 or at 39, and or not Eddie. Dominic and Ray have that match, and Eddie's kind of watching to the side. He's not really joining in on the whole thing. And let's say Eddie goes to grab a chair, but he inadvertently hits Dominic, and Ray wins. And then Eddie feels, he was like, I'm sorry, I tried. And, they hug and everything. And then low blow to Eddie, and he just beats the shit out of him with the chair. And you can set that feud up. And let's say at Backlash, you have Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest, and the LWO is trying to go after Judgment Day. Dominic, looks like he's about to, let's say clobber Bad Bunny with like a pipe or a chain, and then all of a sudden, an LWO music hits, and all of a sudden Eddie comes out. The crowd is going ape shit. Like, you could still have like Savio Vega and Carlito show up, which is cool, but you could still have them get taken out. And then Eddie shows up, and he just goes to town on Dominic. He just starts beating him up and everything. And you can start setting this up to a tag match. I would say a tag match at Money in the Bank. It is between Dominic and shit. Oh man, who's another like big heel at the time? I wouldn't say Priest because he's still in the ladder match. I would say fuck, I'm trying to think of that. Eddie and God damn, I'm actually blanking on this. Eddie and Austin Theory here, why not? Like two annoying heels essentially. And it would be, Dominic and Theory. They take on Eddie and his surprise partner Cody Rhodes. They win that match, but Eddie is like, no, I'm not satisfied with just a tag win. I want to beat Dominic, by any means necessary. Set up the match at SummerSlam, and that could be kind of Eddie's farewell as he beats Dominic in front of Detroit. And that's how you can do it. Kind of a short-lived thing, but have Eddie involved in some way. That's how I would do it. So have them be alliances for a hot minute, then have a big scuffle at 39, and then have the feud end at SummerSlam. Yeah, that's basically it, though. But that's how I do it. Trying to think of what also. Well, what else is there to really talk about per se? Well, War Games is coming up, or Survivor Series War Games as it is. Um, so far, I'm not sure how the card looks right now, but let me check. Let me check. Let me check. War Games 2024. Okay, so here is the card as of right now. So for the World Heavyweight Championship, we've got Gunther versus Priest in a SummerSlam rematch. It should be a good match because I thought their match at SummerSlam was actually really damn good. Um, but yeah, that was a really damn good match. I think Gunther's retaining though. I have a feeling he might hold it till Mania and then drop it. But who knows? He might actually hold it till SummerSlam. And then for the men's War Games match, we've got the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. We've got Roman Reigns and the Usos of Jimmy and Jay, Sami Zayn, and someone else to be announced versus the new Bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatanga Tangaloa, and Bronson Reed. Reed joined them on SmackDown last night. I believe Raw is being taped right now. It's probably gonna be Seth to kind of fill it out. My complaint is that why make it 5-on-5 when you could just have a 4-on-4? That's like the only complaint. It's like, do you really need a fifth member per se? I don't think so personally, but if it's something for Reed and Seth to do, then I guess it'll work. Then cool. But I don't know. I just felt like that was a little bit forced. But I really love the ending to SmackDown last night where Roman is backstage and he's got his phone with him and he says, "Call the wise man." And that crowd went ape shit for that. But it says his phone is out of service, and everyone's saying, "Of course, Heyman forgot to pay the bills," which I thought was funny. But I think Solo destroyed Heyman's phone when he kicked him out of the bloodline. And people are speculating maybe The Rock might have something to do with this because his latest movie bombed. Red One, that movie bombed. So he might be showing up at Survivor Series. I think he might be showing up at Survivor Series anyway. Yeah, I can. People are speculating that maybe Heyman might be turning on Roman, but I mean, if he did, then I'm not sure why. Because he got kicked out by Solo and Fatu and everyone, and he got powerbombed through a table. So why turn on the guy that you've been partnered up with for 4 years and then join a guy that you got put through a table with? Like, that part don't make sense to me. Well, I guess Roman did kind of, berated Heyman a few times. It wasn't constant. Like, it was kind of few and far between. And Solo just, like, flat out kicked him out. Was like, look, motherfucker, you're not going to acknowledge me. I'll just put you through a table. But I haven't seen that. It looks like Heyman's showing up a little more often, so maybe he's got some behind the scenes work to do. But we're ultimately getting Rock and Roman. That we're ultimately getting that. I know for a fact we're getting that. If we don't, then I have no idea what they're doing. Zero clue. Because what I thought happened was that crown jewel. I thought it was going to be Roman versus Solo, but that's not the case. I do know that Lance, I don't know why he re-signed with WWE. He got signed, but technically it's a re-sign because he was with WWE beforehand, like 5 years ago. Um, so technically it's a re-sign, but I think he was only there for just a segment, nothing else. I know he was part of that Roman versus Shane McMahon feud, but that was like a one-time thing. So still, I kind of consider it a re-sign, in my opinion, unless he was never signed and it was just there for the segment. But yeah, I can see. I thought we were going to get Roman and Solo. I think we're going to get we're going to get Guerrillas of Destiny versus the Usos at Mania. I believe that will happen. Trying to think. Who would Solo face? Who would Solo and Fatu face? Actually, you know what? I think they could have Fatu take on Steiner for the Intercontinental title because they were kind of teasing that. They were kind of teasing that for a little bit. They could probably do that. I could see them doing that. Maybe well, if Fatu wins, are they going to have the IC title go to SmackDown and the US title go to Raw? They might do that, even though the US title's only been on SmackDown for what, 2 years, and the IC title's been on Raw for feels like 5 years. They could probably do that. What I'm thinking the matches they might do, where for Mania, I could see them doing Cody versus Cena. Or no, I could see them doing Gunther versus Cena for the world title. I could see them possibly doing I could see him probably doing Cody versus Orton. Rock and Roman. Man. Do you do Punk and Seth? Because I have a feeling Punk is going to do something at Mania. He might finally have that match with Seth. I think Liv versus Rhea is happening. I can see probably Naomi versus Tiffany for the SmackDown title. Because I'm sorry, I don't see Nia holding it for too long. Hopefully. They did introduce the women's US title, which I'm fine with, honestly, because the women need a mid-card title. If they can get rid of the tag titles. I'm sorry, the tag division's dead. That is a dry division. And it's something against the women themselves. It's just they don't really have anything. We'll probably get Jade versus Bianca at Mania. I could see them building up to it because they kind of were teasing it a little bit, but that kind of cooled off. So it's bound to happen. I think it's going to happen at Mania. Trying to think who would face Knight for the US title. Because I have a feeling Knight's going to drop it. I could probably see do him and Carmelo for the US title, or they could probably do that at the Rumble if they feel like it. Because I know Shinsuke Nakamura returned. They're probably going to do anything with him because they have done nothing with that man for 7 years. But I'm shocked Nakamura didn't left with Vince on their Vince in power. See what else. We'll go after the SmackDown and the Raw tag titles. Because honestly, I mean, I'm guessing DIY is going to go heel based off of what's been kind of been building up. They'll probably have heel DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And for the Raw tag titles or the World tag titles, I don't even know who you go with. I mean, because you got Judgment Day. I mean, I wouldn't put the titles in the wide six personally. They don't really need gold, in my opinion. I don't really know. Those are kind of the matches I'm kind of 50-50 on. But, yeah. Might stick for maybe a couple more minutes and then probably log off here. Well, actually, speaking of pay-per-views, I think there's one coming up for AEW. I think it's Full Gear. And I don't care. Don't care for it because the company doesn't care. Because if the company cared, their ratings wouldn't be in the goddamn toilet. But it is. All right. Yeah, it's Full Gear. It is happening. Yep, it's happening next week. Here is the card so far for Full Gear. There are 9 matches total. 9 matches total. It's one pre-show, but 8 main card shows. So there's probably going to be 18 more. So on the pre-show match, we've got Big Boom AJ with Big Justice versus QT Marshall. Big Boom was some like YouTube personality guy, and now he's getting a pay-per-view match. Okay, cool. Don't give a shit. Why is QT Marshall still on television? I have not seen anyone meant so less to a wrestling company more than QT Marshall. Like, seriously, that fucker has provided nothing for wrestling. I take the dog on the guy because he seems like a nice guy, but goddamn, he has done nothing. Literally nothing. All right, MJF versus Roderick Strong. Who's the heel? Because isn't Roddy still a heel? Because if he isn't, then I've lost track. All right, Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Okay, I'm shocked they haven't had a stipulation for this match because it's been kind of a blood feud going on lately. All right, 4-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Cool. More goddamn multi-man matches. Private Party, Isaiah Quinn, and Mark Cassidy versus the Outrunners, Truth Magnum, and Turbo Floyd. I've seen a few clips of them. They look cool. I mean, it's interesting. It's a cool gimmick. But whenever something cool happens in AEW, they completely shut it down. For just Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King versus the Acclaimed of Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Okay. TBS title match. Why is the TBS title still a thing? Mercedes Moné with Camille versus Chris Statlander. Okay. Shane Strickland. Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's debut. Okay. Lashley's probably going to win. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. The Battle of Personalities. God damn it. Fuck. Why? Why are we having this match on a pay-per-view, no less? I don't want to see this guy that calls himself a scapegoat when he basically ruined what is remaining of their ratings. Because he wasn't the only reason why Punk left, but he was one of the reasons. And you have a guy that is blind as white bread. So, okay, cool. Ospreay versus Fletcher. Okay. Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW World Championship. Why the fuck is Orange Cassidy getting a fucking AEW World Championship match? Why? What has that fucker done to provide anything for a world title? I don't care if he's over with the crowd. His shtick is fucking tiresome. It is the same goddamn thing. And it's not good. It is not good. He's an okay worker at best, but fuck me sideways is he overrated. And I've gotten into conversations in some Discord servers. I have said many times how much I do not like Orange Cassidy. I have gotten so much hate for that shit. Like, I legit had death threats of someone wanting to kill my dog for it. I deleted those combos because I don't want to remember that shit. But yeah. Thank God I'm not really in wrestling servers anymore. Well, thinking, fucking Orange Cassidy? Really? That is the best they could have come up with. Fuck that company. It's fucking dead. They can't draw a goddamn crowd. Dude, you got fucking numbnuts over here. Too worried about what WWE is doing. Too fucking worried about them. The only thing I can kind of like about the card so far is Chris Jericho's not on it. But they're probably going to put his flabby ass on the card. Because we can't have nice things. Why is he the Ring of Honor World Champion? You gave the title to Mark Briscoe after the tragedy that he went through after Jay violently passed away. And you gave him the biggest middle finger you can by having him drop the world title to a guy that looks like a fucking beanbag chair. A guy that can't move to save his own goddamn life. A guy that gets gassed within 7 minutes of a 4-minute match. Fucking hell, Tony. You're so worried about pushing these guys that are over their age. And WWE's done that before. And they're still kind of doing that. But goddamn Christ, Tony. Fuck. Ugh. You're letting the in-ring inmates run your own goddamn own company. What do you think WCW went under? Ugh. That show gives me a fucking headache, dude. It really does. And I want to like the show. I do, because I know there's talent on there. But I'm sorry if you have so much unwatchable trash on television every single fucking week, I'm not watching it. Because you either have wrestlers that aren't interesting, some that don't have any personality to save their own goddamn lives, some of them that can't wrestle out of a fucking paper bag, or they have talent but they don't use them. Like, where's Wardlow at? Where's Ricky Starks? Where's, what? Remember when they pushed Action and Andretti for about 5 minutes, and then they completely forgot about him? Like, Jesus goddamn Christ! I'm not saying they're like world title worthy, but fuck, put them in a notable spot. God. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna head off here, folks, because if I talk about more about AEW, I'm gonna tear my own head off. So, yeah, I want to talk on here, talk about Eddie. Eddie's passing still sucks even to this very day. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, make sure you guys, leave a like, leave a comment. Sorry, what is going on with my wall? Oh, that shit's starting to peel. That's fantastic. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, hit that big red subscribe button. That bell also want to upload, you all would be notified. And as always, turn the herd. I'll talk to you guys next one. Peace out.